So I'm not gonna lie, I had to spend 10 to 15 minutes after the full-time whistle is blown in this game to just kind of catch my breath and reflect what the hell did I just saw in this game between the Seattle Sounders and Pumas in the first leg of the CONCACAF Champions League final. Because this game was as peak CCL as it gets, and as peak CCL after dark it gets, with the way that we saw some blown calls, we saw what looked like it was more CCL free space happening in this game, and then we saw some unexpected situation when MLS team was able to come back against the Liga MX team in Mexico with a couple of penalties and VAR actually helping a MLS team to come back to get a result out of this game. But first of all, before we get to talk about what happened in this one, which, there's going to be a lot that happened in this one, and I have a feeling this is going to be a relatively long video. I just want to quickly talk about the starting 11 for the Sounders in this game, which was basically the strongest starting 11 that they had all year. Like, when you look at pretty much all the names in the starting 11, the likes of Morris, Ladero, Rui Diaz, and even at the back, you got Arriaga, Yeimar back in the center back partnership. This was basically the strongest starting 11 that the Sounders were putting into this one. And the heavens also kind of opened up in Mexico City in this one. I mean, it was pouring down with rain in the beginning of this game, which I thought that doesn't favor the Seattle Sounders. Because as much as that looks like a very Seattle kind of weather, with the way that, Seattle weather, when it does rain, it usually means that it's going to be a downpour, and also it's going to be a relatively cold game, which this one was, with the way the temperature was only in the 50s. But knowing the fact that the Sounders this year, I think they have played 2 games where it was raining, which one of them I actually did attend, which is between the Sounders and Nashville SC, all the way back in the first game of the season for both of those teams. Yeah, they lost that one, and they also just lost the recent one where the game was raining at Lumen's Field against Inter Miami by the same scoreline as the one that they lost against the Sounders and Nashville. And when you look at how for majority part of this game is being played, it looked like it was going to be the same case, where the Sounders once again had problem in terms of playing in rain, which is, again, ironic because this is supposed to be a team that plays in a city that rains a lot, and you would think that they would adapt in terms of it. But the other thing that I will also say is that rain and that cold temperature did not dampen the crowd. I mean, the atmosphere was absolutely rocking at the Estadio Olímpico Universitario, and that, you would think that a game that only had 45,000 fans in this one, as they were announced that it was a reduced capacity, you would think that, when you just watch this game, that there was no way that there's 45,000 fans in this. Like, it sounded like 70 or 80,000 fans with the way that game was. And what's also really unique is the fact that, that stadium, there's a track around it, and there's no roof in it, and yet it still sounds like 80,000 or so. So I can imagine if that stadium was actually not just a stadium that is kind of multi-purpose with soccer and also with athletic, and they just removed the track, and also there's a roof in that stadium. Oh my God, that stadium would be even louder than what we heard from throughout the TV feed, or maybe just FS1 decided to jack up the audio of the crowd, which, I know FS1 has done that before, but I literally think that this was actually the real atmosphere, and probably even louder when you're there in person. I mean, if you're a Sounders fan that is watching this down in Mexico City and after attending this one, let me know in the comments below. But overall, let's talk about the game itself, and buckle your seatbelt, because this is where we start to go through the adventure of what is probably one of the craziest, if not the craziest, CCL game I've ever seen. So it was very scrappy in the first 10 minutes, with the Sounder having most of the possession, which is kind of expected. I mean, the first 10 minutes, both of these teams are just trying to feel each other out with the way that this is a final. Though the first shot of the game came in the 12th minute when there was a bicycle kick attempt by Ferrari. Again, I'm going to absolutely butcher some of these Pumas players' name, but he missed that one way wide. But when you know that there's a bicycle attempt in the first shot of a final, you know something crazy is about to happen. Because in the 18th minute, De Niro did fire one over the bar from 22 yards out on the free kick. By the way, De Niro, he was questionable coming into this game, and there was a lot of talk coming into this that he was actually not going to be playing because of that calf injury that he was bothering. Well, not only the fact that he played in this game, but he actually gone the full 90 minutes, and besides there was times where he was kind of on the ground for a little bit. He looked like he wasn't injured. Like he looked like he was perfectly fine, and he definitely had play a big part in terms of how the result of this game went. But in the 26th minute, Fry did deny Ruggiero as the shots were 4-1 in favor of Pumas. But up to that point, I still thought the Sounders were the better team because most of those shots from Pumas wasn't really the ones that came close, and that Fry really only had to make this save from Ruggiero, which it was kind of a weak effort, though Fry did kind of had to pair it away just to make sure it doesn't sneak into the bottom left corner. Ruidíaz then had the Sounders' first big opportunity, but he mishits this one and goes way high from 10 yards out. I mean, it's not often you see Ruidíaz mishits a one-timer shot from about 12 yards out, but in this it feels like maybe with the way that it is raining and that as the game goes on, you can definitely see that turf was giving away with the rain, and the ball was moving so slowly and much different than when if you have a game that is played on an MLS pitch. Yeah, I wouldn't like Ruidíaz, of course, missing that opportunity, and also you can maybe use the excuse that was really the first real opportunity for Ruidíaz, and that maybe he's just kind of warming himself up. But there was no doubt that both of these teams was getting out of their cautious shell and started to be more direct on the attack. And then in the 32nd minute, this is where the controversy began, and this is where we get the classic blown call in CCL, where a penalty was given to Pumas after the ref deemed Arriaga brought down the nail in the box. And not only the fact that, I put quotation mark in deem because it was not a penalty in my book, and it's not exactly what happened in this. What happened in this was, first of all, Yamar actually won the ball here, and then it seems like Dinello was trying to kind of barge into Arriaga, almost like he was trying to sell the foul, and it seemed like the referee completely bought into it. And I know this was also a game that there was VAR being used, and I've mentioned before that technically VAR was being used, even though the referee didn't go to the monitor because he did put his hand next to his ear, which means that he is listening to the VAR official to see whether or not if the call need to be overturned, or does he have to go to the monitor. But he didn't go to the monitor there, which again, as bad as that call is, that was just so classic CCL with the way that an MLS team is going to get hosed because of a bad call. Though it looked like that bad call would not come back to haunt the Sounders because Fry was able to deny Dinero, and I was ready to write, and in fact I actually did wrote ball don't lie, but unfortunately they had to go to VAR again because it looked like Fry came off his lines too early, and he did. This time they did of course get the get the call correctly, because you can clearly see Fry his two feet came off the line a little bit too early as he dived to make this save. And yeah, the penalty of course was retaken, and Dinello did not miss it the second time here as he puts away the penalty, and Pumas was leading 1-0 in this game. And I already instantly feel like, yeah, this is not going to be a great night for the Seattle Sounders, because I've seen this before where a bad call goes against an MLS team and everything just crumble after that. But to the credit of the Sounders, they did show some resiliency and did start to kind of push back to get the equalizer. Talavera had to deny Ladero on the free kick, and that's actually a great save from Talavera. Knowing the fact that, Ladero, even though he hits this one from a tight angle, it was right toward goal, and that, Talavera had to palm that one away, and with the way that the ball is super wet, it's very impressive the fact that he was able to pair that one away, and that one doesn't go through the hands of him. But Ladero did have another opportunity in the 42nd minute as he skies one over the bar. The Sounders, of course, responded well after the blown call, and I also thought the Pumas was already started to go full shithousery and started to time waste. Now, I don't understand why exactly they decided to do it, because I'm pretty sure those Pumas players didn't realize that this is a two-legged affair in the CCL final, and we're still not in the new rule where, you know, in future CCL final it's just going to be a one-legged affair. But yeah, I mean, you know, I don't get why they started to kind of time waste when their team is already up 1-0. And I mean, you know, their team is up 1-0, but you know, this two-legged affair is not done by any means of imagination. I mean, I guess maybe the reason why they decided to shithouse a little bit is they know the Sounders have the momentum, and they're trying to kill the momentum by deciding to waste some time and slow down the momentum a little bit, which, you know, I do think that was more the case rather than them realizing that, yeah, we're just gonna park the bus and just kind of shithouse for the entire game so we can hold on to a 1-0 victory. Though late in this game we did had an unfortunate situation where one of the Pumas defender and the right back Mozo might have suffered a torn ACL after landing very awkwardly with no contact on the turf. Now, originally, I thought he kind of shit housed a little bit with the way that he kind of hit. He made a fist and he hammered it onto the turf and then immediately grabbed his left knee, because that seems like a very shit housey thing to do, just trying to fake an injury. But then, the more I look on the replay of that, yeah, it looked like that was not pretty. And they keep showing the replay too, which I mean, I did see the replay one time, and I already know that, yeah, this looked like it could be a serious injury and that he's actually not faking it. But the fact that they keep showing it, I mean, it's unnecessary that you have to show a guy that looked like might have suffered a season-ending injury a couple of time over and over again. But nevertheless, you know, he was carted off, and, you know, let's hope that he is going to be okay, and that, again, it most likely is going to be the injury that he suffer, and that let's just hope he, of course, have a speedy recovery. But in the 5th minute of stoppage time, and really the last kick of the first half, João Paulo with a Marky Delgado moment, as he basically missed high from 5 yards out. And the reason why I say that is I'm making a reference of what happened in 2018 CCL Final, which, again, I will never forget that moment of how, if Marky Delgado would have showed his cool head, we would have had TFC winning the the CCL title and become the first MLS team to do so. And I know if you're a TFC fan watching this, I'm sorry I have to mention it, but I kind of had to, because, again, that miss that João Paulo has looked very similar to the Marky Delgado miss back in the 2018 CCL Final against Chivas. But, you know, as I said, the Sounders were pressing for the equalizer, but they was also kind of pressing like it's the 90th minute. And in some way that kind of held true, because as we head into the second half, Pumas was able to get that second goal. And it's Dinero scoring again here from Rivas to make it 2-0 in favor of Pumas, and that was not great defending from the Seattle Sounders. And it was actually Yeimar, the one that is the main culprit of the bad defending, and it's very rare of him just kind of miss the flight of this ball and mistime his jump, because he did exactly that, and Dinero was just having a free header. And when you basically let a guy that is the leading goal scorer in this competition this season, yeah, you're going to be punished. And there was no surprise that Dinero punished the Sounders here with a powerful header. And you know it's also a powerful header when Stephen Fry didn't even make a single movement to attempt to save that one. But yeah, Pumas were up 2-0. That was kind of the worst case scenario for the Sounders. But on the other end, Morris heads it just wide, as I actually was about to write. It seemed like we were in for more CCL free space, because I just felt like this was one of those times where an MLS team gave up an untimely goal and they just completely crumble. And then in the 51st minute, Talavera was able to rob Ruidíaz from a point-blank effort. And I immediately wrote, the finishing is clearly not there for the Sounders, because that was right there for Ruidíaz on a platter. 9 out of 10 times he put that one away. And while it was a great save from Talavera there, Ruidíaz hit it right toward him. I mean, that's one that Ruidíaz absolutely should have finished, and that Sounders should have got himself back into this game. There was then some tempers flare in the 66th minute, as Nuhu and Carrizo had some choice work with each other. There wasn't really a lot of tempers flare throughout this game. I mean, besides that and also some scuffle at the end of this game, it was relatively kind of a cool-headed game by both of these teams. And I guess the reason why that is the case is because they know that this is a final. Like, you can't just lose your your heads and started to get in each other's skin in a final where you could get a yellow card that not only can impact this game but also could impact the next game in case you're already on yellow card, you already could potentially be suspended in the next game because of yellow card accumulation. But as the second half kind of progressed, I thought the Sounders looked both heavy-legged and frustrated on the attack, and I think there was many times that Stu Holden mentioned that Brian Schmetzer had to make a substitution, and I absolutely agree with him because this Sounders team, they look like they don't want to be there anymore with the way that they was not showing a lot of intensity, and that again, I use the word heavy-legged because they are playing in altitude, and it's just getting to that moment where we've seen so many MLS teams when they play against a Liga MX team in altitude, they just don't have enough energy in the end to try to come back from a deficit. Though that all changed in the 75th minute when there was a penalty that was given to Seattle as former RSL player Bofo Salcedo decided that he's going to become an MLS double agent here and handball this one in the box. Now, originally, they actually went to VAR to check whether or not, well, actually not originally, but they actually did go to VAR to check whether or not if Arriaga actually foul one of the Pumas player down in the box. And I'm not going to lie, the first time I look at it, it seemed like that was the case because you can definitely see there was a shove that Arriaga had on one of the Pumas player. But the more I look at it, the more I kind of feel like maybe that Pumas player was kind of trying to embellish a little bit. But also knowing what happened earlier in this game, I was fully expect that they were going to overturn that. And originally, I think when Stu Holden mentioned the referee kind of nodded his head, I thought for sure that they're going to waive that penalty off. But instead, it seemed like that nod of the head is just him just saying yeah, that penalty of course stands. So I mean, it feels like maybe the referee is trying to provide even a bigger cliffhanger and trying to even give a more heart-stopping moment for Sounders fan because of course he decided to or decided to stick to his call. And again, he definitely he had a lot of balls to try to do that because again, in front of 45,000 Pumas fans, that is very hostile. Which I will also say this, I will give credit to the Pumas fans. They not only were loud in this game, but they did not throw stuff onto the pitch. Like I was expecting they were going to do so, and knowing the reputation of Liga MX fans, decided to throw stuff onto the pitch if things gone right for them. These Pumas fans were very well behaved, and yes, they were frustrated with the call as it is the case with most Liga MX fans. But they were well behaved in a way where they did not do what I thought that they were going, what many Liga MX fan base would do, which is throw trash onto the pitch. But yeah, in the 76th minute, it sets up a big penalty for Ladero to give the Sounders one back, and he buries that one. But not by much, because Talavera actually went the right way, and he did get a fingertip onto it, but it was just too much power into that one. And yeah, just like that, the Sounders kind of looked like they were dead and buried just a minute ago. All of a sudden, they're back in this time. And the crowd definitely feel like, they were getting very nervous because, while it was a party atmosphere throughout the game, you definitely sense that it got really quiet in the stadium after the Sounders, of course, got one back. And really, as the time winds down, it looked like the Sounders were playing it safe and dropped their lines and hoped to just get that one goal and head back to Seattle to hope that maybe win the next game to get another goal, or maybe win by a 2-goal margin to make history. Which again, I understand why Schmetzer decided to do that, because the last thing you need is to get this back to a 2-goal deficit and have Puma scoring the third goal. But what I also kind of don't understand with that is that I don't know if Brian Schmetzer realized that there's no away goals in the CCL Final. So even if they did get that one crucial away goal, it doesn't really mean anything. They still need to win the game against Pumas and win at least by 2 goals to make history. And Pumas realizing that, they started to really press to try to get that third goal and restore that 2-goal advantage. Salcedo did fire one wide from close range in the first minute, almost made up for his mistake early in this game. But then in the 7 minutes of stoppage time, just as we thought that this game was pretty much going to be over, and again, there was already so much crazy thing that happened in this game. I mean, the CCL gods decided that they're going to throw another twist in this tale and make this game even more chaotic, as a penalty was given to Seattle after VAR deemed that Valette brought Rodon in the box, and I think this was no doubt the right call, because you can clearly see Valette, he kind of put a high boot on the knee, almost near the knee, oh god, what is the high part? I'm just blanking out in terms of what's the part that is above the ankle. I think it's kind of like the shin of Rodon in the box. But either way, the penalty was given. And by the way, while they were looking at VAR, you know, the Pumas fan were once again singing. They even had like the flashlight on their phone, and they thought that they won this game. And little did they know that, yeah, they did not win this game. And the penalty was given once again for the Sounders, which Ladero was able to put one away. This time, Talavera didn't really get any fingertip in this one. In fact, he actually dived the wrong way, as Ladero pretty much put the same spot there on the top right corner. And just like that, it was all tied at 2 apiece. And, you know, I already was prepared to say that this was already a good result for the Sounders, of them getting one goal, and that, you know, now that they have a much better chance. The fact that it's only a 1-goal deficit heading back to Seattle. But now, the two-legged affair, and at least after the first leg, it's all tied up at 2 apiece, and all of a sudden now it's really kind of all to play for, and we're almost like back to what we'll see in future CCL Final, where, you know, it's just going to be the one game, and to decide who is going to crown as the CONCACAF Champions League. Though in the very late in this game, Pumas did have a chance to make it 3-2, as Alvarez just missed high from close range. Not by much, though. I mean, if that one went in, I'm pretty sure the whole stadium would have erupted again. But in the end, the Sounders, I mean, just really against all odds, and against what you usually see MLS team do when they go down to Liga MX, or go down to Mexico to play against a Liga MX team. They're able to come back to get a 2-2 result. And there was also a bit of a scuffle at the end of the game, though we didn't really see the full part of it, because FS1 decided that, yeah, it's enough time of showing this game. We're just going to cut the feed and move on to the next event. I mean, the game was kind of running late with the way that it was already in the 10th minute. But, yeah, in the end, the Sounders, I mean, I was going to say mission accomplished when they got the 2-1 loss, but now it is really mission accomplished. And in many ways, now they set themselves up in a good position heading into the second leg, with this pretty much being a brand new ball game heading into that CCL second leg final at Lumens Field in Seattle. And the shots in this one, 12 shots for the 10 that Pumas had. Both teams had 4 shots on goal, 5 shots off target for the 4 that Pumas had, 3 shots that was blocked for the 2 that Pumas had, and possession-wise, 45% possession compared to 55% possession that Pumas has in this game. And as much as I also said mission accomplished for this team, I don't want to say the phrase that, you know, it could come back to not come true in the second leg, and that, of course, is that with this may be finally the moment where we see an MLS team win CCL, because I've seen this before, where, you know, the biggest memory I remember was when Montreal, of course, got a resort against Club America down at the Azteca, and everybody thought that Montreal looked like they were in hand for one of the biggest upset we have ever seen in CCL, and becoming the first MLS team to win the competition, and they lost 4-1 in the return leg. So this by means is not over, and that, again, heading into the second leg, if we're going to see that kind of drama again, let's just hope that, you know, it's going to be drama where it's going to be in favor of an MLS team, and that we can finally say those magic words that we've been hoping to say for a very long time now, and that, of course, is an MLS team able to win the CONCACAF Champions League for the first time in the competition history. But either way, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure you guys leave a like, smash the subscribe button. Like I said, this was a relatively long review because just so many things that happened in this one. But if you enjoyed this video, let me know in the comments below, and also make sure you leave a like and smash that subscribe button. And yeah, I, of course, will see you guys next time.